Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to our December Best Practice webinar, Year in Review 2018. We will be focusing on the hottest topics of 2018 and those which have been and will continue to be the most valuable to you and your organization for this year and the next. I will have the pleasure of covering the following topics today. We will cover our best practice training topics of 2018, our roadmap for 2019, best practice training topics, Fair Warning Ready Certified Professional Opportunities, regional user group meetings completed in 2018, as well as those planned for 2019. We will also have the chance to jump into the demo environment where we will show you some of the new features in Fair Warning as well as some of the older features in the application that might be useful to you as we refresh. My name is Bobby Baumez. I am the Platform Specialist here at Fair Warning, and I am excited to be with you here today. Before we dive into our review of the 2018 webinar topics, I have lots to go over, including our usual housekeeping items, plus some opportunities coming up for our customers in 2019. To begin, as always, this recording will be housed in the Fair Warning community for you or anyone else in your organization to refer back to at a later date. This recording will be especially valuable as it will be a central location for many of the topics covered throughout the year that you can refer back to if you need to refresh on something. So if you don't remember one of the things we discussed throughout the year or in this particular webinar, you can always refer back to it within the Fair Warning community. We have also begun distributing a weekly Fair Warning newsletter which focuses on developments in the privacy industry landscape, as well as new and ongoing offerings from Fair Warning. We will also continue to offer user groups to give customers within the same geographical region an opportunity to gather, collaborate, and meet with representatives from Fair Warning. We've completed many user groups in 2018, and we're hoping to do many more in 2019. Finally, as part of our offerings within the community, we will be offering a Fair Warning Professional Online Certification class in January, and this will be for our Meditech customers. We will also review many of the other training opportunities that we have online and in person later on in the presentation. If you don't have access to the community or you maybe would like to sign up for one of the user groups or maybe a training, please contact your Customer Success Manager and they will be sure to set you up right away. We are also very excited to announce that our next Executive Series webinar will take place in early 2019. We have some very exciting speakers presenting vital information about interoperability in healthcare. Now, interoperability in healthcare is a topic that will address the growth and evolution in healthcare IT with the goal of creating things like better patient care through more efficient systems, access to health information, advanced technologies to manage that information, and new ways of collecting and analyzing healthcare data. Many hospitals and many of our customers have over 100 systems that need to communicate with one another efficiently. So this means that healthcare IT systems need to become more adept at exchanging data between many devices and other systems. Interoperability in healthcare enables care providers to improve patient care by reducing errors and improving patient privacy and making that public health data much better to access and to analyze, as well as increasing productivity and decreasing costs. So we're very excited to offer that, and we'll have more details about that Executive Series webinar in the coming weeks, so make sure to look out for that. Another upcoming event for Fair Warning in 2019 is the HIMSS 19 Health Information and Technology Conference, which will take place in Orlando, Florida. HIMSS stands for Healthcare Information and Management Systems Society, and it's a gathering where many different professionals, over 45,000 professionals from over 90 countries gather to learn about things and innovate and collaborate with each other. Fair Warning is proud to have been the exclusive sponsor of the Cybersecurity Command Center at the HIMSS 19 conference for the past 4 years, and Fair Warning will continue in this role for the 2019 conference. In the Command Center, you can discover cutting-edge technologies and learn how to best prepare your organization to defend against cyber adversaries. So we're very excited to be presenting at this conference, and we have 2 featured speaking sessions at HIMSS 19. The first will be led by our own Mike Lyons from Fair Warning, and it will focus on ethical and legal considerations of artificial intelligence in healthcare. This will take place on February 13th at 3:45 p.m. Our second speaking session will be led by John Berkey and Trent Long, and will focus on creating a full-cycle drug diversion monitoring program. This will take place the following day on February 14th at 11:30 a.m. These are 2 of topics that are very important to Fair Warning. We've been aiming to innovate in our offerings regarding artificial intelligence and drug diversion, so we're very excited to be presenting at this conference, and we hope to see you there. You can always visit fairwarning.com's events page to learn more about this event and to gather more details about any of these offerings that we have coming up for us in the following year. Also in 2019, we will resume our regular schedule of monthly Fair Warning Ready online certification programs. So we rotate these monthly and based specifically on audit sources. So we offer them for 3 different audit sources: Meditech, Cerner, and Epic. In January, we will offer this certification course for customers using Meditech data. Following that, in February, we will be hosting a Cerner-specific training. And in March, we will have a training for our Epic customers. Check in with your Customer Success Manager for details. Registration for all 3 of these are open now, and we really look forward to you signing up. In addition to the professional training, we offer a more advanced training called the Fair Warning Ready Master Certification, which is held twice yearly. And this is designed for our customers to come here on site to Florida to take a deep dive into all things Fair Warning. This is for customers who have already completed the Fair Warning Ready professional certification and are ready to learn much, much more about Fair Warning and all the things that we offer and all the different features of the application. Registration for our April classes is open. It's going to take place April 2nd to April 5th here on site at Fair Warning. It's open and available on fairwarning.com. The registration for our October class, October 15th through 18th, will open soon. Last, before we begin to go over the content of those 2018 webinar topics, I want to remind everyone of our ideas section available in the Fair Warning community, where you can share, get feedback, and vote on ideas and features that you might like to see in upcoming editions of Fair Warning. So that's the place for you to pitch any ideas or suggestions that you have for the application or for our company. We'd love to hear your feedback. We'd love to hear your ideas, and we'd also love for you to visit us in the community. All right, let's go ahead and get started. The first thing I want to go over is all the user groups that we have had in the past year for 2018. So we've had many user groups. We've had 14 locations, and some of these locations have had more than 1 user group. So our user groups are events where a couple representatives from Fair Warning head out to your location at a hosted site, and other customers gather and we go over various topics that affect you and your organization related to the generalized healthcare privacy landscape, as well as application-specific topics like features, various things related to different things within the application. So these are all the ones that we have completed in 2018. Now, if you have attended a user group, you will know that in the community we have user group discussion boards where you can continue to connect with the colleagues that you connected with in person at the user group. So this is a really useful tool for people to collaborate across organizations and share ideas that can benefit all of us. We have upcoming user groups for 2019. These are all the proposed locations for the next year, If the locations with a check mark, so Virginia, South New Jersey, Houston, and South Florida have already had host sites volunteer, and the planning for these sites is already underway. Now, if you see a location that is near you on one of the sites that does not have a check mark, that means that you could be our next regional user group host. So if you're interested in hosting a user group, maybe you're a customer near Charlotte or a customer near New York or Southern California, and you want to be a host, please feel free to contact your customer success manager, and we can begin the communication about that. We're really excited for these user groups. They're something that many customers find very useful, and we're looking forward to many more in the coming year. All right, so in addition to those user groups, this is what you can expect in 2019. Some of these features are already well underway in our application and within our organization, so I just want to go over a couple of these. So as you know, we've begun an auto-population feature of events specifically for our investigation module, so you can look forward to seeing an expanded auto-population feature within the application that will help you save tons and tons of time when you're using the application. We're also going to begin having built-in tours and demonstrations within Fair Warning to demonstrate new feature buttons or regularly used tools within the application, which will make the ease in which you use Fair Warning increase. We'll also continue working with machine learning and intelligent filtering, and the goal of these two features is to increase the elimination of false positives. Again, we just really want to make sure that we're saving our customers as much time as possible and making the tool as effective as possible. So we're looking forward to increasing and expanding our use of machine learning. In our governance section, we will also have a one-click governance offering in which our governance tool can communicate with outside third-party monitoring tools. So that way you're not spending time working within Fair Warning and then moving it to an outside tool. Those tools will be able to communicate with one another at the click of a button. We'll also have new managed privacy services offerings, so we'll look forward to rolling those out in the next year. And you may have noticed that we are now offering Fair Warning Chat. So in the bottom right-hand corner of your application, you should see a button that says Need Help. And if you click it, it'll immediately connect you to someone here at Fair Warning to get immediate help. So you won't have to get on the phone. Maybe it's a quick question that you have. So we're really trying to enhance the communication and get you to use the application as efficiently as possible. So as we mentioned, we're going to have tons more user groups throughout the United States. We're also preparing for an end-user conference here in Clearwater, Florida, where you can gather with other end users, and it's meant to be a conference where you can connect with your colleagues as well as representatives from Fair Warning. Similar to that is a customer council, sort of like a customer advisory board where you can put in your input for things you might like to see from Fair Warning and pitch your ideas and connect with other customers. We're looking forward to providing more storage solutions and fast conversions so we can store your data as efficiently and effectively as possible, thus enhancing the performance of the application and the efficiency in which you use the application. Finally, the last thing I want to go over for 2019 is drug diversion. We're working very hard on developing a robust drug diversion task force in order to increase the monitoring of capabilities of Fair Warning, specifically for drug diversion. So make sure you're looking out for developments on that front. All right, so now that we've kind of covered what we're going to cover in 2019, we're going to take a look back into 2018 and go over a couple of the topics that we went over throughout the year on our monthly webinars, and that includes dashboards, gaining insight and visibility into your monitoring program at a glance, saving time by automating your monitoring program within Fair Warning using reporting tools and enforced policies, alerts, tips, and tricks for analysis, how to better analyze those alerts that are coming through to protect patient privacy more proactively. We also covered investigations, managing and mitigating risk to protect PHI, and some of our 5.2 webinars also address the investigations modules and keeps you more abreast of the developments within the application that help enhance those tools. We also covered governance, so that means you're evaluating the impact of your monitoring program and your return on investment. The governance is a tool to track the efficiency of fair warning and how it can help improve the privacy program at your organization and show all the hard work that you've been putting into it. We also have a webinar regarding quick reports and how that can help you conduct investigations at the click of a button. We have a webinar on leveraging monitoring best practices to save you time. So this is a really useful one that'll help you combine what you know about your user activity and your data and just some skills and some tools for analyzing those alerts that come through. Finally, we have two kind of webinar topics that really went hand in hand: identifying key end users that enhance your monitoring program. So the people within your organization that are going to play a part in your privacy team to create a very robust privacy program. And last, that kind of goes hand in hand with that, is managing those user roles and permission sets, meaning who should be doing what within the application according to their role and according to that key end user does within your organization. And as always, if you want to access any of these best practice training topics, they are located in the Fair Warning community in the best practice training menu. And we will definitely give you a little peek into the community for you to be able to navigate to the menu and make sure you're able to access those at a later date. So I just want to kind of highlight the specific best practice takeaway topics of 2018. So we've got sort of a higher level, more conceptual couple of topics: monitoring best practices, analysis, things like preparing for a privacy breach or audit, documenting those decisions, mapping enforced policies, training and education efforts, and then we mentioned at the end, identifying key end users and then managing those users' access. So those are kind of our more higher level topics that we addressed throughout 2018. We also have more physical topics, more granular, more skills-based: how to use your dashboard, how to use those reporting tools, your quick reports, your custom detail/summary reports, how to turn those reports into enforced policies by scheduling them to produce alerts so you can proactively monitor inappropriate behavior, how to analyze those alerts, how to trigger them, how to use some of the reports located within the alert, how to conduct investigations if you find that your proactive monitoring has produced some or has uncovered some inappropriate or questionable behavior, how to investigate that behavior, how to look at all these factors within the application and report back on them to your organization using that governance module to document closure rates and corrective actions. And last, some ad hoc reporting for patient complaints and quick reports, and then documenting investigations related to those quick reports. So I just want to focus on sort of how we have those two categories of webinars: the more high-level, more conceptual ideas, as well as the more skills-based ideas. And it's really important to emphasize that these two groups, these two categories of topics really go hand in hand. You want to make sure you're integrating all of these ideas into developing your privacy program. All right, so we're going to demonstrate some of these topics that we just covered and that have been covered in the past year on our monthly webinars. We're going to go ahead and hop into the training environment. All right, so I want to highlight, even on the front page, the home screen, the login page of your Fair Warning application, On the right is going to be a rotating featured offering from Fair Warning. For example, this is our drug diversion in healthcare white paper. Now, we had an executive series webinar on drug diversion, and here is some research developed by Fair Warning that documents our efforts to address the drug diversion problem in healthcare and how those features within Fair Warning can help you address a potential drug diversion in your organization. So this will be something that is rotated on a regular basis to feature things that Fair Warning has been working on. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and log in. We'll get started. So when you log in, the first thing that you see is your dashboard, and this is meant to be a high-level sort of check-in report card for your application. And we have a couple different widgets here. So our data integrity widget just gives us a record of all of the data that's being loaded into Fair Warning on a daily basis. And this is a widget that we always recommend for our customers to add. It'll give you a picture of if your data within the application is accurate or if it might be incomplete on any given day. These check marks indicate that the Fair Warning data present in the application is complete, it's accurate, and it's ready to be analyzed. Here we have our Enforce Policy widget. This widget lets me know that for each enforced policy, a specific number of alerts were produced, and then a specific number require your review. For this particular trigger, the numbers are the exact same. So perhaps if you have intelligent filtering set up within your application, those numbers might differ. Perhaps a larger number of alerts were created, and then some of them were dismissed by intelligent filtering, and this number would display the number of alerts that actually require your review, that have a higher likelihood of being questionable. And this widget right here will let you know how many alerts were closed. So if you've had alerts closed by intelligent filtering, it will appear here, as well as the ones that you have closed yourself after analysis. If you don't want some of these widgets, they're easy to remove. You click this little cog here, and you can quickly get rid of it. And there it goes. Now, if you would like to add it back, this icon here helps you manage your dashboard. So if you'd like to add a new widget, you can scroll down to Manage Widgets, click Pre-Built Widget, and then I'm going to go ahead and select my Active Enforced Policies widget. When I click Update Dashboard, it'll reappear. Oh no, it's down there. Now what do I do? So these are pretty cool. You can just drag and drop. Oh, drag and drop. There we go. All right, so it's pretty easy to manipulate and customize. And I also want to point out, as I mentioned before, here is our chat feature. Now, if I click this, it would immediately connect me to someone at Fair Warning who could help me solve a problem or answer a question that I may have. All right, we also have available is a governance dashboard. And when we get to the governance section, I will show this to you, but you have the ability to have more than one dashboard. Maybe someone else in your organization who has a Fair Warning login has shared a dashboard with you. If you'd like to see what their view looks like, you can click on there, and it'll show you their dashboard. You can also share your dashboard by clicking the little people icon, and it'll give you some options of people you've already shared it with, as well as other people within your organization. So if I'd like to share it, type in a name, hit share, and then my dashboard will appear and their dashboard menu drop down. All right, so moving on, we're going to head to the report building section. Now this section has undergone many changes since the beginning of Fair Warning, so I'm just going to highlight a couple of them. Now, to create a new report, it's as simple as clicking New Report. Now, if you've been on previous versions of Fair Warning, you'll notice that it's a little bit different. Previously, it would have the option of doing a detailed report or a summary report. Now there's just one. I'll hit Audit, and it'll immediately take me to the report builder. These are all of the audit sources being loaded into this particular account. So you can select all of them, or you can just select one of them, or you can select a combination. I'm going to go ahead and select one of them. I'll select Epic. Now, when I move through my options, I have moved on to my filter section. So this will allow me to look for maybe a particular department, maybe a particular user, maybe a particular title, and I can refine my search in order to get the information that I'm looking at. These boxes down here allow me to select particular fields to be displayed in my data. Maybe I don't want to see the medical service field in my data. I just don't find it very useful for my analysis. It says easy to get rid of it as double-clicking, or you can select it and move it over using the left-hand arrow, and then it will not appear in your data any longer. In addition to detailed reports, which is what I'm looking at right now, you can hit the toggle and switch it to a summary report. Summary reports are useful if you're trying to get a count of something. You want to see how many users there are in each department or how many users there are of a particular title. So this is a type of report that will be helpful when you're trying to compare figures or get a count of something or find your top 10 users. And just as a reminder, summary reports can even be displayed on your dashboard. Within a limited range, you can get that information to show up as soon as you log in if it's something that you're going to find integral to your access of fair warning on a daily basis to monitoring your privacy program. I'm just going to take a little look at these icons up here. They're pretty consistent across the fair warning application. And if you hover over each one, it'll tell you exactly what it does. So this is our back button. If I clicked this, it would take me right back to my report module home screen. If I wanted to share this report after I saved it, it would allow me to do so by clicking it, just like with the dashboard. If I wanted to make a copy of this report after I added some filters in, I would be able to do that. And this would allow me, especially if you're wanting to make a template, you know you're going to be building a lot of reports that are exactly the same or maybe have slight differences. This is really helpful for that. If I want to go ahead and run the report, I can click the play button. If I want to save the report, I just hit this floppy disk right here. If I want to add a tag, meaning I want this to be associated with a particular category of alerts, maybe data compromise or questionable user activity, I can add that tag, and you can even make your own tag specific to your organization. This is a feature that allows you to have a calculated field if you want to concatenate certain fields or things like that. This is a feature, a more advanced feature that allows you to do that. And I'm sure we'll have many training topics that kind of address these calculated fields, as it's one of the newer developments within fair warning. And quickly, if I hit Show Report Settings, this gives you the information within the report, the audit sources, the filters, the fields, and then the details for our summarized reports, as well as advanced sort options. If I want to see those at a glance, it's really easy. I just hit those gears, and it'll show me that. And this is a really useful tool, especially since you can print it. All right, so I'm going to head back out of this report and come back to my report builder, and I'm going to head over to my enforced policies screen. So enforced policies are just reports that you run on a schedule. So you have the option of running a report ad hoc as you feel it is needed, or scheduling it to run on a daily or weekly basis. So as you can see, I have one active enforced policy, and that corresponds to the enforced policy that was displayed on my home screen, my dashboard. So any of these that I own that belong to me are going to show up on my dashboard, and those are typically the ones that you have running on a daily basis as recommended by fair warning. So perhaps someone has shared an enforced policy with me. If I had to share with me enforced policies, it will show me any enforced policies that another user in fair warning has shared with me. Right now I only have one, but perhaps in your organization you have a bunch of different end users who might have different enforced policies running, and you want to be able to collaborate and share those with each other. That's a great tool for this. And if your permissions allow, you can see all enforced policies by hitting the All Enforced Policies button, and it will show you all of them throughout the application as your permissions allow. For instance, if you have a permission set that does not allow you to see all enforced policies, then this option would not be available in the drop-down, and you wouldn't be able to select it. Okay, so after your enforced policy runs, it will produce alerts, and alerts are sets of information that require analysis that are potentially questionable. I'm going to click into one, and I mostly want to click into one to go over our automated incident response reports. These are customizable, meaning you could come up with a different one that's specific to your organization, like maybe a medical service summary for which medical services are associated with a particular patient or user. Some customers have particular nurse units or facilities or locations that they might want to have a report on as they're analyzing their alerts. So those are able to be customized for each enforced policy. These reports are useful for your analysis process as they give you some insight into this user's behavior. So maybe this is the only user from this particular department in the past month, or maybe this user has performed actions that have not been performed very often. This is the only patient for whom this user did this particular action. And it just gives you some insight into user behavior so that you can identify anomalies or other things that you think might be questionable. If you expand this alert details view, you're able to change the status of an alert. You're able to add notes and save those notes into an alert, which is particularly useful if you have more than one person working on an alert. You can dismiss an alert, and you can even attach an alert to an investigation along with the events. So you'll either do that by hitting the Investigate button, which will not attach these events, but you can, the magnifying glass and the plus sign allows you to attach those events to a new investigation. And you can either attach that attach those events and resume your analysis, or you can attach and edit, which will bring you straight to your investigation screen. Now, you may have noticed that one of the options was attached to an existing investigation, and that means you can either attach it to a new investigation, or maybe one already exists and you'd like it to attach it to that. It also gives you the option to attach it using a template. So templates are pre-populated fields of information that might be located within each investigation, and they're customizable based on different types of enforced policies. So you might have a different one for coworker, household, actors after termination, and I'll quickly show you what one of them looks like. This one, as you can see, the little @ symbols give you options for the information that you're able to pre-populate. So if you hit the @ symbol and you scroll through the options, you're able to pick what information you'd like to have pre-populated into your investigation. So maybe you want to have the patient ID located in your investigation. It's as easy as that to have that pre-populated, drawn from your data and placed into the investigation, which will save you lots and lots of time. You can customize the auto-population of involved parties. Maybe you don't want it at all. Maybe you want it to prompt you, or maybe you want it to just go ahead and take care of it behind the scenes so you don't even have to think about it. Really taking some of these more minute tasks off your table so you can focus on analysis and working on improving that privacy program. The check mark means it's enabled. If I wanted to save these changes, I could just hit save, but I don't. I just want it back right out. Now, these have to be associated with an enforced policy in order to be available. And the shield will allow you to associate it with an enforced policy. So right now I can see it's associated with a couple different enforced policies, all of them related to coworker snooping. All right, so before I move on to governance, I want to go over one more thing within the report builder. One of the changes we recently made at Fair Warning is the differentiation between scheduling a report and scheduling an enforced policy. The clock will allow you to go ahead and schedule a report and have it being run in the background. So it will execute it now, if you hit execute now, or you can schedule it. Either way, it will run in the background so that you can move on to other duties within Fair Warning that you might have to take care of. So maybe you want to continue your analysis on an alert. Maybe you want to complete some investigations. This report can be going on in the background while you're taking care of those things. If you want it to run on a regular schedule, you'll click the shield. That'll bring you to our enforced policy scheduler. You can break down the schedule by enforced policy run, meaning you'll get all of the information in one alert, by user, by patient, by user and patient, or by some other field, which gives you the option of maybe you want to do it by user title. Lots of different options here. If you like to see some advanced policy features, you just hit that drop down. So you can add a threshold to your alert. Maybe you only want to see an alert if there are 2 or more events within that alert. Maybe you want, these are where those automated incident response reports can be added to each different alert. This is why it's customizable by enforced policy. Here's where you can add intelligent filtering if you have that enabled. And here's where you can associate it with an investigation template. So these are framed to be a little bit more user-friendly, and these are questions you should kind of pose to yourself when you're scheduling your enforced policy. How do you want to organize it? How often do you want to be notified? Do you want to be notified? So this gives you the option of giving yourself a reminder email. Now, for some people, this might not be useful. You might find this a little bit overwhelming, especially if you're getting 50 alerts a day. That means 50 emails. Or maybe you want a daily digest or a weekly digest. Lots of different options for how you can be notified when you receive an alert. The final section of Fair Warning that I want to go through is our governance section. All right, so these are all of my reports for governance. Maybe this particular report will show me how many alerts there have been per month in the past span of time that I choose. I have this one set for 90 days, so it'll show me how many alerts were produced per month in the past quarter. If you're looking for a particular governance report to help you exhibit that return on investment and show the growth of your privacy program and the effectiveness, you can check out our Fair Warning library, and it has tons of options for you to choose from when you're running your governance reports. Maybe you want to see how old alerts are and if any are still open and how old they are. Maybe you want to see all of my investigations closed with incident in the last year. That's a particularly important one, as it will show perhaps the decrease in number of investigations that were closed with incident as your culture of compliance grows within your organization. We also have the ability to, so let's, for example, when you run a report within governance, it will display a graph, and this is a particularly useful visual for those boardroom presentations when you're trying to demonstrate your return on investment. So this comes with a chart and a graph, and as we move on, I'm going to head right back to the dashboard to show you that all of these reports can be added to your governance dashboard. So not just the table, but also the graph, and this gives you a quick glimpse into your privacy program, and these are definitely customizable. You don't have to have these particular governance reports, you can include whichever ones would be beneficial for you. All right, last thing I want to point out is our quick report tool, which is located across the pages of your fair warning within each module. So if you have a patient complaint or some suspected questionable behavior, we offer some fields to refine your search. Maybe you're looking for a particular user or a particular patient. You can adjust this date range in order to conduct a quick investigation. When you hit execute, it'll run that report, and you have the ability to save the report or to even open an investigation with the results of that quick report. All right, well, I'd like to thank everyone for their time in the demo environment, and before we head out, I just want to navigate to our community. All right, so our community is really a great hub for you to connect with other fair warning users. We have a number of message boards under our topics dropdown that relate to different topics, from supporting documentation to getting started with fair warning, events, Salesforce, and then using fair warning on a day-to-day basis. So those are always a great place to pitch questions to other users and receive answers from other users or from fair warning representatives. Here is where our ideas page is located, and this is where you can submit an idea for what you might like to see within fair warning. And what I'd really like to point out is the best practice training menu. So if I just type best practice into that search bar, then the first result is our best practice training menu. And this has a list of all the 2017 topics and all the 2018 topics, including the one that we've presented today. And this will be really useful for people to look back on if they have questions or maybe can't remember exactly what we went over. It's always a place for you to be able to refer back to and increase your knowledge of fair warning. So that's always a very useful place to head if you ever need to learn a little bit more. Last, before we wrap up, I just want to point out our user group section. Now, these are all private groups dedicated to previous attendees of user groups throughout the country. And this is a place where you can continue that collaboration with your colleagues well after the physical user group has taken place. You can continue that user group digitally. So if you have attended a user group and do not have access, please contact your customer success manager. And as always, if you have any questions about this webinar or anything else, you can reach out to your representative at Fair Warning, and we would be more than happy to help you. Thank you so much for your time today. I've really enjoyed presenting this webinar of our best practice topics of 2018, and I look forward to many more webinars in 2019. Thank you so much.